What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 90 of Lyon Live, here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic today. We are back. We are going to be starting the League season, and of course there's a hell of a lot going on still in the transfer window. Normally I like to have my transfer business done before the start of the season. That isn't going to be the case this year, unfortunately. We have deals galore going on. Of course, Kingsley Coman on the verge of a £70 million move to Real Madrid. Pretty good money to receive for him. He is one of the big earners at the club. Not sure if he's entirely justifying his wage given his quality. And of course, on the ins, we are looking at a few various players, including Sunday here. I'm going to call you Sunday, unless someone can come up with a better nickname. If you've got an idea for one, let me know in the comments. But yeah, Sunday here just looks like a ready-made replacement for Coman in many ways. Coming in on a 8-year contract, 5 years with an optional 3-year extension for significantly less wages. And of course, with the remainder of the money, we are looking at Donnarumma. And I ended last episode by kind of saying, what did you guys think? You know, what should we be doing? And to be honest, it was very, very split. Most people universally agreed that Coman for Sunday made a lot of sense, but the Donnarumma kind of, people weren't sold on Donnarumma as an idea, and I thought about it, and usually with this kind of thing, I've kind of made a decision by this point. I'll be completely honest, I'm still not sure if I want to bring him in. I think I do, and I want to bring him in on the kind of basis he is literally one of the best goalkeepers in Football Manager, and we're looking to sign him for £50 million and only $20 million up front. What that might mean is that I loan out Durand for half a year, or maybe look to sell Lopez once he joins us. It'd be interesting to see how much money we can maybe get for Lopez. To be honest, I doubt we'll get anywhere near £39 million, but we'll have to see. Because the season's about to start, I feel like the goalkeeper position is one of those that most teams have solved by this point. I mean, I guess the hope is that AC Milan need a goalkeeper and go in for him. But no, I need to think things over a little bit. Obviously, we've got to play things by ear a little bit. I might have to delay the Sunday transfer a second time. And when you start delaying a transfer a second or third time, that is sometimes the point at which teams just kind of cancel it out. So we'll hope that Atalanta don't do that. But yeah, that is perhaps worth just being mildly aware of. The fact that could be a factor. I have a horrible sneaking suspicion that come the 5th of August, we're not going to have that deal done yet. Anyway, Ralph Reckles is set to join Sochaux. I feel like we're very close to the domestic loan limit. Did we hit it last episode? We might well have done. We've not hit it yet. We must be very, very close. Anyway, we've got some competitions that we can scout. I'm just going to say scout all players. And do I want to scout anything else? You know what, the Under-23 Premier League could be an interesting one just to scout, to get some names, and maybe African Cup of Nations as well. Sometimes some good little African regions can get thrown up, and of course with the French registration rules of non-EU players and some select French nations, occasionally you can find some good little players playing for teams where, or playing for nations where they won't be considered foreign. So yeah, we'll see how we get on here. This is going to be a bit of an interesting episode because we're still very much in limbo, and well, we're almost certainly going to be starting the season against Rennes, and we're definitely almost certainly, I know that is a complete oxymoron, but we're definitely almost certainly also going to be taking on PSG today in the league, which is huge. Let's be honest, taking on PSG at any point in our season is massive, but playing them at this point right now, when we're still kind of in limbo a little bit and trying to get things working, that could be a little bit tricky. Anyway, we've got to delay the Sunday deal again and hope that Atalanta just allow us to have that. Apparently I need some under-19 coaches. You know what? You can go to our under-19s and be a fitness coach. Have fun. We have no reserve data analyst. What am I doing? Marcel Daum. I think that's how you'd say his name. He looks pretty good. I must admit, when it comes to like reserve and under 19 kind of staff, I tend to care significantly less. My kind of trail of thought is, hey, if my coaching staff and my training staff are all good, I'm not going to be too concerned. What kind of assignments have we got right now? Have we got any staff free? We've got 3 who are unassigned, so we could maybe get some new assignments going. Obviously, we've got loads of ongoing scouting stuff here. Various reports that have come in through the years. I feel like, in general, our scouting's been pretty good in terms of just the overall quality of players that we find. Let's scout Europe. I'm going to look for a hot prospect on an ongoing basis with a pretty broad net cast. I feel like that's the best way to do things, to be honest. You can see we've got lots of people scouting, you can see the assignments that they're on, but various kind of bigger competitions and lots of European ongoing. To be honest, as you guys have seen, it's actually thrown up plenty of very good players over the years that have kind of just been thrown up as suggested players that I'm kind of happy just to continue going with the same thing. Obviously, when it comes to signing players in Football Manager and players within lesser known nations, I'll go to national teams and look for players manually there. I'll go to league stats and look at players there. I'll look at teams' key players, and if they've got a regen at this point in a save game 4 years in, they're probably pretty good, as Vargas picks up an injury. And so the assignments and kind of the players that get thrown up as a result of those assignments, I kind of just added bonuses on top of that, especially with a series like this where I don't spend 3 hours on a single day just scanning through every single national team and just hunting away. They provide quite an efficient way just to throw up various players, and I don't feel too much like we've been too disadvantaged by the way that we've approached things here. Obviously, we've had a constant stream of very, very good little regens coming in. Oh my gosh, Real Madrid have come in for Gabels. That is not something I was expecting. They've offered 83 million immediately. I don't really want to sell him because he's French and he's homegrown and he's 20 years old, but I have this horrible feeling that if I just reject the offer, he's going to be unhappy. Let's ask for 120 and see what they say. They've lowered it down to 91. I don't really want to sell him. I've got to be completely honest. Even if it was like 100 mil, I'd be struggling to accept it. I locked in 110 mil there. I'm okay with selling Coman, but I don't really want to sell Gabels, especially with the fact that Moise Kean is injured to start the year. I don't want to be getting in a new striker immediately and trying to replace him. Okay, Toussaint was unable to solve his unhappiness. I'm disappointed that you priced me out of a move to Real Madrid. I think that would be an important player for them, a more important player for them than I am here, so you need to be realistic with the asking price if they bid again. I can't afford to lose your influence. He hadn't considered himself that way until now. Good. I'm kind of lying a little bit there. At 20 years old, I wouldn't consider him the most influential player in the dressing room, but I guess he does hold a fair amount of influence, to be fair. I did notice that with the, was it Marin loan, that fell through due to the domestic loan limit on players. We already have 7 players on loan in France. Been trying to sell this guy, but with limited interest. Let's just see if we can get him a loan move where he might play regularly outside of France, of course, because we can't loan him to anyone in France. And this is a kind of a weird variety of teams here. Are these all teams in the Croatian league? They are. I mean, the fact that these are the kind of teams making loan moves for him probably implies that for Marin, at least in this specific stage, he's not going to peak particularly high. He's obviously had a fair amount of issues with injuries, and at 21 years old, he's kind of getting to the point now where we can't realistically expect him to improve too much more. Inter want Maulida on loan with a mandatory £46 million fee. Absolutely not. If I was even going to consider selling him, I'd need the money right now. Obviously, the striker situation we have right now is a little in limbo. We, just to remind you, to start the season, we have Freitas, who can play as striker, although he's more of a centre-attacking mid. We've got Moise Kean, who is injured for the next 7 weeks to 3 months. So that's quite a big range in time. We're going to have to keep a close eye on how he recovers there. Maulida, of course, probably going to be starting alongside Gabels to start the season. Really do like these two guys as a pairing. You can see they're not dissimilar players in a lot of ways. Gabels perhaps a little bit more complete. And then James Taylor, who's probably third in line to play, at least right now with Moise Kean out injured. He's more than an adequate backup option at 20 years old, Scottish international. I imagine he'll play a fair bit of football this year, to be honest, as part of our kind of ongoing rotation. We have definitely stripped things down a little bit. Anyway, first game of the league season. It's an exciting time here. We have got a little bit of a dilemma of sorts. And that is borne out of the fact that we have, of course, got a few of those injuries. If we just look at our best 11 right now, this is not my best 11 right now. Do I have a best 11 set up for our current system? Yes, I do, is the answer. Yes, I do. Although Havertz is not included in it because I set it up before we signed Havertz. To be fair, he probably comes in for Freitas on the bench, although he's probably on the left there today. We're training him to play left mid. He's got to learn to play it. I know that he's not that great at it yet. He's only competent, but match experience is going to be good for him to learn to play that position. I have got to keep a little eye on Vargas, who's out injured to start. He probably isn't going to be able to play, so we'll have Freitas on the bench for him, and also James Taylor. This is probably going to be Kingsley Coman's last game for the club, though. Obviously, the plan this year really is to have Havertz learn to play on the left. We'll then have Vargas play on the left and right. Once he learns to play on the right, he is right-footed, so it makes a lot of sense. And then Adiwell Sunday will come in and be that backup option on the right-hand side, whereas Trincao will be kind of second in line on the left, with maybe Vargas slotting in there occasionally. I do like this team, though. I'm just wondering if I want to play Maulida as the advance forward, just because Gabel's is a little more complete. Oh, what do I want to do? You know what? I think I'm going to stick with Maulida on complete forward on support, just because Gabel's is significantly better in the air. And with him spearheading the attack, there's probably going to be a need to be a little more shown from him. Maulida's fitness is not great, actually. Only 45% of a match he could play. We could bring in Freitas. Freitas to play complete forward, is that a mad idea? I don't necessarily think it is. I mean, you can see here his dribbling is a little lacking. But besides that, he is actually a very, very good player. I was going to tell him to dribble less, but I can't with the role. We'll keep an eye on that. If he starts losing the ball a load, I might change his personalised instructions to make him a deep-lying forward or a false 9 instead. But we're only playing Rennes today. We really should be beating them quite convincingly. I suspect we'll bring in Maulida at half-time if Freitas is struggling. Looking at their team here, they are going to go with a 4-3-3 for this game. Only a few players I recognise. They've got a striker up front here, William Bonneau. I mean, you're 18 years old and starting the season up top for them. He actually looks very, very good. Let's get a cheeky little scout report, shall we? Our scouts say he has significant potential. Yeah, let's see how we get on today. Just going to try and encourage the players. First league game of the season, with us knowing that we have PSG next. It's absolutely vital that we get a win in this first game. We need to be dispatching of teams like Rennes, you know, immediately. And normally I'd go into this game with a lot of confidence that we can do that. But for those of you who witnessed the start of last season, you'll know exactly what happened. In our opening 5 or 6 games, I think we won 1 game. And then we lost, I think, 3 matches, 2-1 in a month. It was crazy. They were games as well that I don't genuinely believe we deserved to lose. But because we slipped up so much, our title race and chase was over before it began. So hoping for better days here as Havertz whips it in. Keep an eye on him on that left-hand side. Coman puts in for Havertz, who hits the post. I mean, if Kai could score on his league debut, it wouldn't be a bad way to introduce himself. He is playing slightly out of position. Freitas, I mean, of course, he's got injured as well. The striking injuries could be starting to pile up. Going to have to bring in Maulida here, who I was recommended to only give 45 minutes to. I'd like to believe that we will go a few goals ahead in this game and I can take him off for James Taylor and not have to worry as much about injuries. Anyway, set piece here. Eden Militao whips it in for Aouar, who, well, he continues this season how he ended last year. He, for the second half of last year, just stepped into Fekir's shoes and you wouldn't have known that we were missing one of our key players. Militao with the ball in and on the volley. Great little finish into the roof of the net. We break the deadlock in this game after 33 minutes. You can see the statistics here. Rennes have actually had more of the ball, but they are doing absolutely nothing with it. Our defensive shape is holding pretty firm and we are creating chance after chance in this match. At half-time, it's only going to be 1-0, but it's, well, if we can perform like that, I don't see us losing, boys. I'm very happy with that performance to start things off. Gabel's on a 6.4 isn't great. Toussaint on a booking isn't superb. I'm going to take him off, actually, just to play things safe. We'll bring in Lucas Romero. I guess one of the advantages we have here with such a strong kind of bench that we've just assembled here at Lyon is that we have players like Lucas Romero, who's a world-class defensive midfielder who we can bring in. Bono, the youngster, has a free kick there. A little bit of a warning shot in our direction, perhaps. It was a good little save by Lopez, who might be playing the last of his regular, goalkeeping appearances for the club today, which kind of sucks to hear and sucks to say aloud, actually, when I think about it, considering how good he's been. But I know that Donnarumma was splitting people quite a lot. I think you have to appreciate just how good Donnarumma is in Football Manager. He is one of the best players in the game, full stop. Like, he is up there, I think, in top 5 players in terms of potential ability. The ability to sign him for 50 million is just something I can't really pass up. And equally, I've never really had a super world-class goalkeeper in any of my save games. I'm curious to see if he can actually make a noticeable difference. Obviously, Lopez has been top draw for us, but it'll be interesting just to see, do we notice the fact that we've got one of the best players in the world? Anyway, Goebels really hasn't played that great here. I'm going to bring in James Taylor for him and keep Maulida on. We'll have to hope that he can, avoid injury. It's only 1-0. It's not been massively convincing in truth. But I'm hoping we can hold on here with 2 minutes left as Rennes do bring the ball forward. I am a little nervous here. Maulida with the tackle, it deflects, and fortunately for us, they've blazed it over the crossbar. Man, they switched to a free striker system. That has actually caused us a few issues. That might be something to kind of be a little more aware of as the season goes on. Fortunately for us, we are going to hold on here for a win, which I think we deserved. Would have been nice to get a few more goals, but given the fact we had Freitas get injured, Maulida obviously wasn't 100% match fit. Ultimately, the 3 wins is the big thing for us. Or the 3 points. Not 3 wins. You don't get 9 points for winning a single game, unfortunately. Freitas is going to be out for 4 weeks, so that is actually a pretty devastating injury for us. Durand is continuing to do well in training. If we do sign Donnarumma, and I'm definitely leaning towards doing it, I will probably look to loan out Durand for a year. Or alternatively, maybe look to sell Lopez first and just see where that lands us. I would like to think that we can get those deals done before the start of the year. Not the start of the year. The year has started, but before the start of the PSG game. We've got a week to do those dealings now. Now, Leverkusen have made an offer for Freitas to make him a key player. See, that could be really, really good for his development, but I think we need him. Juventus have made an offer for Ndombele, which is just not appealing in any way. Just with our current striker situation, if I loan out Freitas, we'll be left with 4 strikers for 2 positions. Although I guess Shadas can play there. Why am I tempted by this? I feel like if Moise Kean wasn't injured, I'd probably do it. But actually, I see Freitas playing semi-regularly for us, even when he's back from his injury. So with that in mind, I think we'll reject that loan offer. That's one of those kind of dealings that if it came in January and I knew exactly where he fitted into the team, I'd maybe be a little bit more inclined to get rid of it, loan him out. Not get rid of him. That makes it sound like I don't want him. Goebels wants a new contract here. He's been thinking about requesting one. I mean, he has just had PSG come knocking. I'm a little bit worried about what kind of wages he's going to want. Let's have a look. He wants 100k. Can you go down to 80? I really need you to go down to 80 here, mate. 82? 80, 83? If I offer 90, is he even going to be happy? You know what? Seasonal landmark goal bonus. If you get to 25, I'll get you a little bit more money. Maybe I play too hardball sometimes. But I feel like long term it's always worked out for us here at Lyon. There's been times when Ndombele's come in and been like, I want £120,000. And a month or 2 later, he signs a contract for 190. There is definitely scope, I guess, for it to drop off. Anyway, first game of the season for everyone else. Let's hope that PSG and Monaco slip up immediately, shall we? Looks like only PSG are playing. They're playing Sochaux, though. A team who I do hold a little dear to my heart. After a brief stint managing them last year in Football Manager. Can they do us a favour? No, they can't, unfortunately. I'm curious, actually, who is playing in goal for Lyon this year? They've got actually a pretty good young player. I don't know if... Durand would get in ahead of him, but I don't know if they would have wanted to renew Durand's loan looking at that. Gravenberch played 82 minutes for Napoli, which is good to see. At 20 years old, this guy still has plenty of room to improve, and equally, just, playing regularly for Napoli is only going to increase his reputation in Europe, maybe lead to us being able to get more money for him if it doesn't work out. So we can actually sign Donnarumma by adjusting the budget, but I'm going to delay it just because I don't want to confirm that transfer until I know Koeman's going. It's only our first time delaying it, and usually teams, at least the first time you delay things, are kind of understanding of it. The long-term finances on the Donnarumma deal, it is going to hurt us a little bit, but equally, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and my thinking here is we give him a few seasons, we can monitor Duran's development, and then depending on how that's going, maybe we look to sell him on. I mean, he's only 23 years old at the end of the day. Okay, so the wheels are in motion now, everyone. Kingsley Coman is going to leave for £70 million. We get £58 million added to the bank. If we just continue forward once here, that is going to help us a lot. Two sides unhappy that we sold Koeman there. Duran, can you solve things? I mean, look at that. Agent Durand. He's 18 and he's already able to talk players like Toussaint out of being unhappy. Duran might be the long-term solution, but I do feel like Donnarumma is the immediate solution here. So anyway, we can ask for confirmation on the Sunday deal, and that's going to be £46 million, which is fine. And then that leaves us with, in terms of finances, if we just continue forward once here, that is going to leave us with 15 million in the bank, but an excess wage budget of 364,000, which we should now, if I've done my maths correctly, be able to use to confirm the Donnarumma deal. David Diaz out for 4 weeks. We are getting a few little 4-week injuries. They do scare me a little bit. Anyway, let's make sure Sunday is registered here. Love the name, Sunday. In some ways, I just want to call him Sunday. He looks very, very good, doesn't he, at 19? A hell of a lot of potential as well. I've got very, very high hopes for him. In terms of training, we'll train to play the deeper right mid position on winger, because that is where he's going to be playing for us more often than not. And then Donnarumma here, we should be able to ask for a confirmation on the transfer. But for some reason, I can't see the option just yet. Let's try continuing forward once more. We set a record transfer income for the year, £270 million received. And it's also a record fee that we've received. And then we set a record high for spending as well. I mean, we've been wheeling and dealing like crazy this window. Donnarumma, why can I not ask for a confirmation? Is it because I've not got the money? If I adjust the budgets, am I now going to be able to ask for confirmation? Yes. That makes sense, I guess. Right, Donnarumma, world-class goalkeeper, it's done. Now, I know that not everyone agreed with that decision. I'm hoping that we are going to see the difference between Donnarumma and kind of a solid goalkeeper this year. I mean, I've got high hopes. I guess the question is now, what do we do with our other remaining goalkeepers? Jorginho, I'm happy to keep in as third-choice goalkeeper. It's not often in FM that you need your third-choice keeper, really, is it? What number do we give him? I feel like Donnarumma used to have number 99 at AC Milan. You can tell me if I'm completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did. So with that in mind, we'll give him number 99 because I'm a nice guy. Let's just sort out our best 11 here because it is going to change a little bit with the new additions. So, do I want to start Vargas? I feel like I do want to start Vargas in the next game, but do I want to start him on the right? That is the question, because he is not 100% comfortable there. I'm thinking that shorter term we probably play Vargas on the left until he learns to play on the right, and Havertz in a more central role until he learns to play on the left. Perhaps during games we'll, change up the player positioning so that they are playing the positions that they're learning. In the meantime, Sunday is a very, very capable winger in this deeper role. You can see here his passing is perhaps a little bit lacking and his off the ball could be a tiny bit better. But he has just crazy technique and everything. I think we'll develop his passing a little bit and focus on that initially. I'm hoping at 19 years old he can still, improve quite significantly. However, this is what we have as our current best 11. I think longer term what we'll probably end up doing is something like this. And actually, we might as well save this as our best selection, because I do feel like by kind of Christmas time, this is what we are going to be playing. You can hold me to that when it's a completely different system. Although I've just realised I've not put Donnarumma in goal yet. Get him in goal. Get him. Look how good he is. Look how good he is. I'm excited. You should be too. I'm wondering what money we've actually got left over after these dealings, as I struggle to type best 11 correctly. Yes, I want to overwrite our team selection. If you don't use the preset team selections, like, you are significantly hurting yourself, I feel like. I mean, this looks like a very scary team, doesn't it? When you look at that. I kind of like the fact we're not overly kind of relying on regens yet. I know that might seem a little bit odd to say, but I feel like sometimes you end up in a situation in FM where you just have a load of regens by the 4th season. Obviously, we do have a share of them, but it's not a crazily large amount, I don't feel like. Anyway, James Taylor, I've currently been telling to train with the reserves and play matches to stay fit. But to be honest, at this point, with all the injuries to Freitas and Keane, he is, not that far down the pecking order. And even Shadas might get an opportunity or two to play as a striker. The good news is Sunday, I think, is going to come in with pretty good match sharpness. Indeed, he is. So that's good news there. We'll rest Taylor just before the PSG game. It's only in 3 days' time. What money have we got left over at this point? We've still got 63 million in the bank. Our wage spend is 2.1 million. I think I set 1.9 million as the golden amount I wanted to be spending, kind of max. We have exceeded that a little bit. You can see here, we've actually made a profit in terms of sales this year, and our wages have only gone up subtly. But I feel like when you look at the overall team improvements, it's quite noticeable. I know in the comments of last episode, actually, a lot of people were talking about the centre-back position, saying, you've got Markovic, Lenglet, and Eder Militao, and then behind them, people were a little bit worried. I think you've got to remember, we've got David Diaz here, who is capped for Colombia internationally. I know he's now picked up an injury, but he played 25 games for the Juventus first team last year with an average rating of 7.07. I feel like he is a very, very capable centre-back to come in. We've also, of course, got Kanate, who has, again, been pretty experienced at this level. Played 6 games for us last year. Would like to play him a little bit more this year, and I think he will get more opportunities. But before that, he played 60 games for Lille in Ligue 1, of course, finishing, I think, 4th or 5th with them. He qualified for European competition, certainly. And then, of course, we've still got Simon Guillet, who's 18. He's not as good in the air. He probably would come in and play the more ball-playing defender role. But he has played 6 games for Monaco as well. It's not like these players are all players who are completely unknown to this level of football. Obviously, I'd rather not rely on them. But if we're having to play our 6th choice centre-back, that's an injury crisis that I don't feel like we can necessarily foresee and account for. So with that all kind of in mind, I'm reasonably happy with where we are right now. We have still got quite a lot of excess wage budget. I wonder if we could change things a little bit with our budget adjustment if we wanted to. We could free up like £6 million, but at this point I'm not sure if we could realistically sign anyone for that money who's going to improve the team. And of course, in terms of the outs now, we're kind of done. We've got rid of so much of the fat that was on this team to start the year. There's still a few more players who I'd like to maybe move on. Players like Oliver, I would really, really, really like to loan out. Obviously, we brought him in as one of our kind of short-term punt kind of players who we were looking to, turn a profit with. Equally, with our current striker scenario, I guess it's not out of the question just to promote him to the first team just to be kind of a backup player now. We'll offer him out for half his wages, being required to be paid, and see if anyone wants him. But I feel like we might be struggling a little bit. Juventus now want Tolisso on loan. They're offering a future fee of 58 million. See, Tolisso is another very, very interesting one because I like Tolisso a lot, but he's on £115,000, which at this moment in time makes him the second highest earner at the club, and he is just sat on the bench, aged 28. Now, we brought him in for £69 million, so realistically, I wouldn't want to receive anything less than that. So this kind of money here just isn't appealing enough to me. And equally, I feel like he will get more opportunities this year in the first team than perhaps last year. And so we will become, more reliant on him, I guess, as things go on. One thing I do think we should probably look at is actually our set-piece takers, because these have not been updated in a long while now. So let's take a look at these, shall we? So for corners, lots of our players on the bench actually are very, very good at corners, and we have a load of left-footed players who are good at corners. I'm a big fan of the in-swinger in FM, so we'll put all our left-footed players on one side, and then for the in-swingers on the other, we can bring in our various right-footed players. And then I think below Vargas, who doesn't have the best in the world, we'll just kind of reverse it. So if we have to have an outswinger, we shall. But I feel like between the 6 players you can see here, we should be okay. Free kick taking, Shadas is very, very good at free kicks. If you don't know, with free kicks, crossing and technique also can play a role in it. So Shadas is very good because of that. Eder Militao, obviously, you see fairly frequently on free kicks. He's got 14 free kicks, 13 technique, and 11 crossing. I do wonder if we've got better options out there with, say, Vargas now to come in. Yeah, Vargas is definitely better now looking at it than Eder Militao. And also, Eder Militao, as you've seen, is pretty good, but I do get a little bit nervous with our current system that he is a little out of position taking them. Havertz has decent technique and decent crossing as well. Again, I'd probably put him ahead in the pecking order now. Taylor, how are you? How are you? He's okay. I feel like when Eder Militao played right back for us, it was easier to justify him taking free kicks. You can kind of plug that gap a little more easily. Whereas when he's playing the central centre-back position in a back three, it does feel a little uncomfortable, shall we say, to have him taking everything. Anyway, we'll rejig things a little bit here, but nothing too major going on. Really just kind of padding everything out for the worst case scenarios. But no, we should be okay with these here in terms of throw-ins. I mean, I could have Markovic take them on the right and Lenglet take them on the left, I guess. I guess the issue is that they are our wider fullbacks, and if we're really high up the pitch, do I really want them taking them? Probably not. I think we'll just leave it on kind of being automatic. The other thing is penalties, where I'm hoping we have some pretty good penalty takers now. And looking at it, we do, which is nice. Obviously, Gabels has proven his worth. You've been pretty good under pressure. Behind them, we can bring in players like Havertz. Shadas can probably come in. Eder Militao, Trincao, Vargas. I feel like having 7 players should be enough kind of coverage in that position. In terms of, captains, we've got Toussaint and Lopez. That is one of the reasons why I'm a little hesitant to sell Lopez right now. But we have just bought in Donnarumma, and Durand would be a very, very good backup equally. We can maybe look to loan out Durand. I think we'll try and loan him out, and we'll see if anyone just comes in and offers exactly what I want for him. If we get to a situation where no one's really interested, obviously we can't loan him to a French club because of the domestic loan player limit. We might change things up. Looking at it, Milan want him as their first team regular. Knowing that they've not got Donnarumma anymore, I feel like that loan makes a lot of sense. He is guaranteed regular football in Serie A. And I guess he will be their solution to Donnarumma leaving. Obviously, it's a pretty big gap in their squad to plug. Yeah, he is almost certainly going to come in and play regularly for them, which is perfect as far as I'm concerned. That could be a really good loan, actually, for him. I like that a lot. Anyway, one of our players has been called up for the Asian Games. It is Park Jae-hwan, who we signed a year or two ago and then we loaned back out. He looks very, very good, to be fair. We signed him for 1.9 million. He's currently on loan. You can see it. Is it Jeonbuk? Oh, please correct me. I must admit, never spoken a word of Korean in my life. But he's valued at £5 million already, which is pretty good. If you ask me, at least. I think we're just about done with the transfer window now once Durand goes. Is Durand going to get arsey if I put him in the reserve now? No, that's good. Still got a few players interested. or a few teams interested in our players, including centre-backs, which I don't really want to sell. Man City are apparently interested in Tolisso. What did we sign Tolisso for? 69 million. Let's be a little bit cheeky here, because I'm not against selling him. Let's just offer him out for 90 and see if City come knocking. We might as well test the water, you know. He played 25 games for us last year and got a 6.92 average rating. I don't see a world in which we get more than what we paid for him back, but we can try. And especially when we've got players like Lucas Romero on the bench, it kind of doesn't feel like the worst idea in the world. It's going to be interesting to see how players like Ollison get on this year, because he's on loan at Metz. Playing in Ligue 2, so a little bit of a step down for him, but at 16 years old, he's got plenty of time to step up, and really it's just about development. And as you saw there, he has seen a little bit of improvement. Tolisso apparently might want to go to Man City. Do you want to go? He does want. I mean, he does want to go. Oh, imagine if I end up selling him and just doing a load more business. I mean, if we sold Tolisso, we could probably bring in a pretty decent backup centre mid if I even felt like I needed one, and get a new centre back if I felt like I needed one again. Because, as I said, like, we're okay in the centre back position. It would probably be the obvious weak link right now, would be Markovic. I think it's mad that within our team you have players like Lenglet here, who is considered a 3-star current ability player. If you don't know, by the way, the star ratings that you see here are relative to your own team. So, for example, Donnarumma is by far and away the best player in our team, and Havertz is right up there as well. And equally, a 3-star player is, you know, compared to the best player in your team. If you, for example, if you sign Messi for a non-league team, he would be 5-star, and because he's so much better than everyone else would be half a star. If that makes sense. And that's why sometimes you'll see star ratings drastically swing up or down. It's just because, you know, how they're judged can change quite significantly. PSG away next. Do I want to play the 5-man midfield system in this game, or do I want to stick with the 3 at the back? I feel like part of me wants to stick with the 3 at the back. Juventus have made an offer for Tolisso. They've offered us 59 million. PSG have made an offer. Oh, Real Madrid have made an offer too. They've offered 66. I don't like all the clauses. I'm not selling Eder Militao. It's not happening in a million years. Of all the players that I'd even consider selling, he is probably furthest away from the top of that list. These offers for Tolisso, I don't like the clauses. Like, we don't have to sell him. I think that's important to remember. It would probably make a lot of sense to sell him, and if we could recoup our money, it would be good. But we don't absolutely have to sell him. Obviously, he's quite keen on a move to Man City, it seems, so it'd be good if they came in for him. But the wages it could free up is monumental, as you've seen. I like Tolisso. We kind of brought him in as that left-back option. But last year he really didn't shine. And at 28 years old, he's not getting any younger. I know he has only just turned 28. I guess the only concern really would be that it would leave us without a left-back. Although maybe then you just recall Mendy. It just leaves us without a left-back. That is the only cause for concern that I'd have. Although maybe then we look at a world-class centre-back who can also play left-back. We are currently training Lenglet to play left-back, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed, we are. Let's just have a little quick scan of the market, shall we? If we did bring in a centre-back, it would be Guillet who would move down. And probably go down to the reserves. But he'd still be a very, very good option for us. At centre mid, I wouldn't feel as concerned either, because we have Renato Sanchez. We have, obviously, Romero as well. Kai Havertz can play down the middle if we needed to. We have Freitas who can play higher up. Shadas can definitely do a job for us. I feel like we'd be prepared, you know, to not necessarily have to replace Tolisso. So we'll look here at a centre-back who is competent at left-back and just see what gets thrown up. So someone like Romagnoli could be an interesting option. He could add a lot of quality to our team. I guess the question becomes, if we did sign him, would we be able to afford the wages, and how much are we realistically going to have to pay for him? We just look at players with contracts expiring in a year. Is there anyone who stands out? Get Alkbonner in? Anyone? Probably not the ideal option. Luis Felipe could be a very good left-back option, although the wages are just a little bit high. That is the other big factor, obviously, here, is that the wages are always going to be a little bit of a struggle to stomach. Lucas Hernandez is here. Although, again, the wages and the realism of actually being able to sign him from PSG, as a signing, it seems questionable whether or not we could actually do that. I guess Diallo could be an option from Leipzig. Perhaps more of a backup kind of player, but a very, very good backup. The fact he can also play defensive midfielder can make him pretty nice and versatile. Obviously French as well. Zagadou is another player who I like quite a lot. I've had a few good run-ins with him. He's a little underwhelming on this save, I'm not going to lie. But I mean, you can see here, just superb in the air. I guess the lack of acceleration might lead you to feel like he isn't necessarily the ideal kind of option when it comes to fullback. Congolo, he's okay. The wages are pretty low on him. He'd be a safe bet as a backup, I guess. What it's probably in my interest to do is just scout all of these players towards the top. I did see Tisserand there, who I always see kind of come up, semi-frequently, and he's always a player who's, I don't know, I'd like this guy a lot. Actually, he's not that good in this save, but sometimes you can pick him up for a really good fee. The last few FMs he's been good. I must admit, I've not really used him this year, so I'm not sure if he's got better or worse. Nathan Ake, could we realistically sign him? Probably not. Anyway, we're thinking about all this Tolisso stuff. The reality is that I could not sell anyone now, and I'd be pretty happy with the overall balance of the team. This is potentially our team to start this game. We have got a few injuries, obviously, to the likes of Freitas, Diaz and Moiskin that do cause us a little bit of an issue. Maolida still coming back from fitness. Only recommended 45 minutes, but I feel like we've got to chance him. So I think this is the team we're going to go with. It's going to be a big debut for Donnarumma in goal, of course, taking on PSG here. We've then got Lenglet at left centre-back. At right centre-back, we've got Markovic. Going to be interesting to see how this guy does. He's 22 years old. Last year, he played 20 matches for us. This year, he's going to be a regular starter with Wallace out the team, at least at the moment. And I honestly don't know if we necessarily even need a centre-back. The only real concern with selling Tolisso for me is really the left-back position. And obviously, I don't want to sign a specialised left-back because we aren't necessarily going to play with that too often. So they do kind of need to be able to play centre-back as well, which is why we've kind of limited our options to, the players that you just saw. Anyway, Militao's going to be pulling the strings in the deeper position. Of course, PSG trying to unsettle him during the week. Toussaint is going to play ahead as that ball-winning midfielder. Out on the right, we're going to go with Vargas, I think, for today's game. He is not that great at playing right mid, but you can see as a winger, his attributes are very, very well suited to it. Hopefully, he can get better at the position. It's a similar story for Kai Havertz on the left. A player who is very, very good. I mean, actually, they're both pretty good at playing the opposite wings to their footedness. So maybe I just swap them over. It's not perfect, but at least they're slightly more convincing at each position. You know what? That probably makes the most sense, at least for now. We'll go with Ndombele down the middle. He wants a new contract. I kind of want to give him a new contract as well, although I'm scared how much he wants. Who wants him? Okay, Barcelona, Man City, and Tottenham. Not going to sell him, so they can jog on. Aouar, of course, got the crucial goal in our first league game of the season. He is absolutely top drawer. And then up top, we're going to go with Gibels and Maolida. Really like these two guys as a pairing. On the bench, James Taylor, Shadas, Trincao. Sunday is here alongside Lucas Romero, Tolisso, and Kanate as well. Man, I really like our team right now. I don't know if we necessarily need to sell Tolisso, but if a £70 million bid came in, given the wages that he's on, given the fact he's going to be on the bench more often than not, maybe it would be worth just cashing in on him. I'm not entirely sure because, actually, the more I think about it, the fact he can play left-back and the fact that if we go for a more crowded centre midfield system, we go to our five-man midfield, he slots in nicely, kind of makes me feel like we might want to keep hold of him. Anyway, let's get into this. It's PSG away, the most difficult game of the season, and I say that knowing that Monaco won the league last year, but let's be honest, this is always tricky. Let's hope we can have a good game. Havertz to start things off. Not the best cross in. Marquinhos battling in the air with Toussaint for it, who will mop up the pieces. Goes back to Ndombele. Going to be interesting to keep an eye on the new set-piece takers to see how we get on. Havertz here has a go. I mean, it's a little ambitious. I don't know if I necessarily can knock the ambition there. Of course, playing out on the right, cutting in on his left foot. Be interesting to see how much we see him elect to go down the line, Havertz. Neymar Jr. takes it inside away from Markovic to Oscar Dominguez, who hits it. And it is saved away superbly. Of course, Dominguez was that young, I want to say Spanish striker. Well, yeah, are you Spanish? Yeah, you are Spanish. The young Spanish striker who we kind of looked at and then we kicked ourselves when we couldn't really afford him and go in for him. Because, I mean, look how good he is. He is nuts as their starting striker. We have to be afraid. Going to start with an early demand, more shout for the players here. Get them focused. Only 15 minutes gone. We've struggled to really seize possession of the game. And with that in mind, I am already thinking in the back of my mind, do I want to change system? Do I want to go to the five-man midfield? But I don't know. The game has been devoid of any real chances. Markovic has picked up a booking, which is a little bit of a cause for concern. But you can see at the moment, not a classic. At half-time, it's going to be 0-0, and there's been one shot on target for either team. Would a draw be the worst result in the world away from home against PSG? Probably not, but I would like to see a little bit more from us in the second half. I am tempted to change systems to the five-man midfield. I would probably elect to take out Maulida as well. Just based on the fact that he was only recommended to play half a game anyway. I mean, this is the advantage of having Tolisso on the bench. We have quite a lot of flexibility in our team. So for this half, we're going to move Vargas into inside forwards and Havertz into inside forward. I mean, the team kind of just slots together quite nicely and picks itself. I'm a little bit scared about Markovic's booking. I'm just wondering if I want to play him at right back or Eder Militao. I think I'm going to go with Eder Militao because he is just a lot better going forward than Markovic is. Markovic is kind of your more traditional defensive fullback. So we'll go for the changes here and see how we get on. Perhaps how we do in this second half with the change of system is going to determine whether or not I decide Tolisso is a player who I really need to keep hold of to offer the flexibility he does on off the bench. Anyway, early chance for them here. Let's hope that our tactical change isn't immediately going to, cause us a headache and, cause us to come undone, because we are taking a little bit of a gamble here in a game that was very 50-50. But I feel like it is needed as Mbabu whips in the ball and Donnarumma makes a massive save on his debut. Not been tested too much yet. If we go on to win this game, we might look at that save as a difference maker. What a shot stop that was here. Applying pressure high up the pitch here, trying to force an error out of PSG. They do actually work the ball out of the press quite nicely here. Kimpembe with it, going back to Rulli. Of course, was a goalkeeper who we almost signed last summer before he elected to go for PSG for the money. Can't really blame him too much. Ball whipped in for Oscar Dominguez. He hits it. Donnarumma, I mean, he's called into action and he has stopped it. But you'd have to say it was fairly standard. I am just thinking in this game that after 8 minutes they've had 3 clear-cut chances since we've changed system. Do I want to change back? I was probably going to have to take Maulida off anyway because of his fitness. I'm now just thinking about how our team would actually fit together. I mean, here again is another one of the advantages of our current team setup. We can quite quickly adjust things on the fly and just make things fit. Markovic trying to book in does scare me quite a lot. I guess this is the other issue with Tolisso, is he comes in a game like this and we're kind of a little bit hands tied in terms of how we play, because he can't play the more advanced positions as well. I mean, to be fair, he's very, very good in an attacking sense, so maybe we do just play him as the trequartista. Let's just have a look. His off the ball, his passing and vision make him very good at the role. It's just the fact he's not that convincing at it. Aouar's had a little bit of a nightmare on a 6.3. Given all our kind of injuries at the moment, Taylor is the natural player perhaps to come in and play that complete forward on support. You can see here he is very, very well suited to it, other than his lack of ability in the air. You know what? I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a change. We're actually going to go back to our original system. I know it's very easy to say in hindsight, well, why did we make the subs at half-time? But it felt like at the time it was kind of a bit stale. And now 5 minutes later, Taylor's injured. I mean, is the game just trolling me? Is the game just trolling me? I hope Taylor's not out for a long time. Otherwise, we do have an injury crisis in the striker position. We will have 3 or 4 first-team players out. I'm going to have to tell a few players not to dive into tackles. In fact, Taliso's already on that as part of the Trequartista role. But I'm going to have to tell Ndombele and Markovic, just don't do anything rash here. We've used all our subs after 60 minutes. We've been forced into one of them for a player who we brought on. Neymar now with a set piece, whips it in. Sergey heads it the other side of the post. We've been let off the hook massively there. Ten minutes left. Would I take a 0-0? Probably would. Since we've changed our system back, we've looked a lot better. We conceded, I think, 2 or 3 clear-cut chances in the space of 8 minutes. In the time since that, in the last half an hour, we've not conceded one, although we are going to be called into action here. Ball to the back post. Leon Bailey's there. Donnarumma saves it. He can't get for the rebound, but we might be going to VAR here for an offside. Oh, don't do this to me, FM. If you're going to cancel it, just disallow it. It's going to count. Oh, that hurts. There was a hint of offside here. Who is that? That's Vargas, just not in position. Donnarumma makes a superb first save, but he just can't get up to the rebound. Oh, I mean, they probably deserve it on balance, to be honest. PSG, they have been the better team. But equally, to hold on for so long, it hurts to concede. We're going to go very attacking. We've got to go for a roll of the dice here. I do feel like this game came earlier on in the season than I would have liked. I would have liked to have had a more settled 11 players learning their positions. Although Vargas forward, oh my word. Oh my word. Havertz with the assist. Matthias Vargas, what have you just done, you filthy, filthy man? I was about to say, I feel like this game had come a little too soon in the season for a few of our new additions and it was going to be a tough test for us. But Vargas, what a touch that is. Ghosts inside and cuts in on that right peg of his. Maybe we just play our wingers on the opposite wing to their footedness. 6 minutes of added time here. I'm going to stay on positive. I'm not going to change the system. There's a minute left. Don't do this. Don't do this, FM. Leon Bailey to Sergey. Tackle. Falls to Neymar. Oh my God. Should I have just stayed on very attacking? I hate this game. I hate this game. Should Donnarumma get beaten at the near post? Probably not. Probably not, but it's the tackle just falls straight to Neymar. Oh my word. I mean, can we go up the other end and score now, please? I'm doing the demand more shout. I don't think we're even going to have a chance to shout it. I feel like this game's dead. Oh, Can please? It's not happening, Jack. It's not. You've got to. Sometimes you just got to let it go. Oh, I mean, we didn't deserve to get anything from this game, to be fair. But when Vargas scored that, you wanted to believe that it was something for us. I hate this game. What's Taylor's injury? Please don't be serious. It's another couple of week injury that leaves us more and more light at the back. Oh no, the back at the top. So we've got Freitas who's out for 3 weeks. Keane who's out for up to 3 months. And and Taylor now out for up to 3 weeks. Who have we got coming up in that time? We've got Nantes, Avra. I still don't know how to say this team's name. There is an international break in there, so that might help us quite a lot. We've got Nice as well. And then we are going to have the Champions League campaign getting into full swing before we also have Monaco at the end of September. Oh, when do PSG play Monaco? They've got Marseille next. Maybe Marseille can do us a favour. I want to believe that that's a thing. It looks like they don't play Monaco for a long while. I mean, we now have to bounce back. I guess the point that I was going to say before we scored kind of holds true here in the sense that That game against PSG has come earlier than I would have liked. I would have liked that game once we were kind of a little bit more settled into our starting 11. Duran's going to go to Milan. Marin's going to go on loan. A few different offers coming in here. £64 million bid for Tolisso. £61 million bid for Ndombele. And a laughable offer for Maulida I'm not even going to consider. I don't want to sell Ndombele. I just feel like he's absolutely irreplaceable for us. So that's for 120 million. I don't really want to sell all of our best players in one window. They've offered 76 million for Ndombele. I'm not going to take it. This is more tempting because it's potentially 64 million. I know we spent 69 on him. It's 64 million. My only concern is then the coverage at left back, but then maybe we try and kill two birds with one stone and get in a player who can play left back and centre back, or someone who's accomplished at left back but also plays centre mid. Is there anyone like Tolisso, or is he a 1 in a million player? I'm beginning to feel like he's not. It's not a normal combination of of positions, is it? Get Jondo Fuchs in. As much as I love Fuchs, I don't think he's quite up to the calibre that we have and require right here. It's quite a unique set of positions that we're looking for in someone who can play left back and centre back. And is also affordable. I guess that's the other crucial thing here, isn't it? Tagliafico wouldn't be the worst shot in the world. I don't know how good he is in FM. And Tagliafico is actually quite good in terms of for doing what we need him to do. He's not the quickest player in the world, and he's not the most technically gifted fullback in the world. There's this guy who's on loan from Juventus at Cagliari. I think this is the guy we looked at maybe last episode. He looks very good. He's not the best in the air, but he can play centre mid and left back. How much do you want? Oh, if we let go of Tolisso, could I sign him? Feels like a bit of an unnecessary risk. I mean, this guy looks pretty good for Argentina's under-20s. I mean, this is working on the assumption I want to sell Tolisso. I'd be interested to know what you guys think of selling Tolisso. He's a very unique player now in terms of the positions he plays, and he does open up a lot of opportunities for us. I am very concerned about the striking injury situation. I feel like normally you'd look at 5 or 6 strikers and say that's enough to have coverage, but when 3 of them get injured all at once, it is a little bit of a headache for us. I'm hoping now against the likes of Nice, Nantes and Havre, who we've got coming up, we can just have some easier games to build up some confidence going forward. I do feel gutted for Vargas that after getting that massive goal, it means absolutely nothing. But, I mean, he scored a wonder goal, and hopefully we'll see more of that, I guess, from him going forward. It was interesting to see him cut in on his stronger foot. I do think longer term I would like to have Havertz and Vargas on opposite wings, but because I want them to play on their stronger feet. But given the fact that they are both right now natural at kind of the opposite wing to the one that they play, it probably makes most sense to line up like this, at least for now, with a view to change things as we go on. Oh, I'm actually heartbroken a little bit about that PSG game. It really has deflated me to end today's episode. Anyway, I just want to say again, thank you for you guys for watching. Let me know what you make of the Tolisso deal. There's been a very high turnover of players this year, and I'm kind of a little conscious of this at this point. Granted, only a handful, I mean, only really Coman and Wallace were players you'd even consider first-team regulars ever at the club. I guess Mendy as well, who went out on loan. But for the most part, I do feel like we've added a significant amount of quality to the team this year, which is good. And obviously I want to continue to do that, and maybe moving on to Tolisso would open up the opportunity to sign a new centre-back, maybe even another centre-mid. I realised I was about to sign off the episode, and now I'm sat there thinking, what players also have contracts expiring in a year, a bit like Donnarumma did? Is there anyone there who could potentially help in either of those two positions? You know what? We'll worry about that tomorrow. That is tomorrow's problem to solve. There are actually some quite interesting players here we can maybe pick up, but let's worry about that tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. That's a figure of speech. In 2 days' time, when you see next episode, it'll be on Monday as you guys watch this. But yeah, I do hope to see you guys next time. I've rambled on for long enough. Gutted for today's result. Didn't deserve to beat PSG at all. Their overall quality just kind of put us to the sword a little bit. But we look fiercely competitive in spades. And I think there's optimism for the coming season. Let me know what you do with Tolisso. I'll see you guys again soon. It is me, Jack. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.